that album, thank God, it's such a beautiful, joyous fucking example of it. Because I know that really looking back on it, there must have been times and you were like, damn, that sample.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just going through the process of trying to correct everything for the re-release.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Clearing those samples was a bit much.
Just even cataloging the samples.
Yeah, we looking at each other going, what do we do?
Why did we do this?
Why do we do this?
Like the funny thing is for the Apple show, we wanted to do a skit where we went back in time and stopped ourselves from sampling. Like, yo, you already got 3 on this song. You have to add the other 12.
Check it out.
I'm not even going to pretend, gentlemen. I've been waiting for this moment my entire life. And it's not like we don't know each other, and it's not like we don't run into each other.
Right,
there you
right,
go. And it's not like we haven't had some great moments.
Facts.
But just a chance to be able to stretch out for a little bit of extended time with you both.
Peace.
Beautiful, bittersweet. Thank you,
man.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Word is mine.
But thank you, Mason. Thank you, Pos.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Zane. For
Yes,
real.
man. Thank
You
you.
already know we got years in.
Yeah, man.
You had to get real comfortable with taking compliments early on, I feel. And let me define what that means. There are compliments where it's like, hey, great album. Thanks. And you keep it moving. And then there are compliments, like the one I'm going to give you that you've heard countless times throughout your career because of the quality of the work that you did and the innovation, creativity, and the consistency, where it's like, it's not a compliment. It's like a you changed my life moment.
Oh, man.
And I've seen that. I've seen Paul McCartney absorb that. I've seen Beyonce absorb that. I've seen Radiohead run from that.
Right.
Go the other direction, like, don't talk to me about that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel that you are that too, and I feel that you are that to us and to millions of people around the world. That whether you meant to or realized you were or not, you know, you changed our lives. So thank you.
Oh, man.
No, it's a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Real.
It's still for me kind of weird. You
Yeah,
know,
to hear that.
Yeah.
You know, you take it in and like,
you know, I know what it is to like be standing next to DMC and he's talking to me and I'm like in my head like this is DMC or
Right.
you know, we've become like over the years really close. Like we've always knew him, but we come really like just brotherly close with Jazzy Jeff. But still, I'll be like, that's Jazzy Jeff. You know, I'm like, so to have someone feel that way about me, I'm Merce.
But that's the beautiful thing about it.
I mean, D said it best. We saw ourselves in Run DMC.
Yeah, it is.
I think all of us have.
Yeah.
You know, coming just from your neighborhood. Them dudes next door or them dudes that's in the park.
Until they're on TV or on stage and
Yeah.
they're superheroes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And how do people grow like that in stature, even though they remain the same height in real life? It's
Yeah,
just-
you know, and even at the supreme height of what De La has been blessed to do, you know, we never was the ones who had like 60 limos, this, that around, 800 bodyguard. Like we never really moved like that, you know? So even when people saw us and we were blessed to have them say these things to us and it just move our heart, but they could get right up on us. It wasn't like someone, yo, I need to tell you something, and someone's in the way and they gotta like okay.
Yeah, I
we
felt
just
like
never been like
I felt
that.
like we're famous enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And
just-
approachable.
Yeah.
Except round De La Soul is Dead, where you might get sucked in the mouth.
Yeah, those are some troubling times.
Peas, porridge, in
Hey,
the pot.
hey,
Oh, that's
hey.
great. And in comes Mace with a swift right hand.
Hey.
We'll get to all that if we need to. But, you know, I think because we got very used to seeing our favorite artists in superhero form, and when you showed up with 3 Feet High and Rising, 35 years anniversary, and now in Spatial with new tracks. Thank you. We're going to get into that, def for sure. But I'll never forget when that was recommended to me by a guy at the record store in Newmarket in Auckland. I went home, put it on, and suddenly I was like, damn, like, they are just unapologetically themselves. You know, and I think that was very unique at the time, because even the way that you rapped, you and Dave rapped, is like, everybody was kind of pushing it out. And you just kind of came as like, spoke it
Mhm.
from the heart.
Mhm.
And I've always wanted to ask you what prompted or inspired you to not try to kind of keep up with the Rakims or because when Rakim rapped, it felt like the walls were going to fall down.
Mm.
You guys came in a different buzz, and really where that came
Yeah.
from.
I mean, it's hard to really pinpoint, I'm being honest. What was just cool growing up and like developing our talent and our craft when hip hop just kind of like hit everyone. One thing about being in Amityville, like in the high school, like everyone hung around each other. So I mean, like the toughest kid could be around the halfway nerdy kid, and some of the music cats who was tough, but they were just like into like technical stuff. And you know, us black kids could hang out with the white kids. They would come to our basement parties. We would go to their
The
keg
cake
parties.
yeah.
We were just all chilling, and everyone was willing to accept you for what you did,
Yeah.
and wasn't trying to impose, you know, anything. So it kind of went like that. I feel with hip hop, it wasn't like I had to force anything. And once I was trying to really develop who I was, and Dave kind of felt a mesh to it, but we could have homeboys who was rhyming and they was really into the more like push it out, but they didn't necessarily say that like, no, that's how y'all should be doing it.
Yeah.
So it was just, you know, and then when we saw like-minded people, and we knew Biz, and when we could see Biz putting comedy into such great music.
And still be tough. Those
You know?
records just like on the floor.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
dance the pop.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So that like kind of reaffirmed things. Or if we saw Ultramagnetic saying all these big crazy words, but the music was amazing, that just reaffirmed how we could move. And, you know, love Coogee Rap, love him, no lyrics, but when it came for time for us to do it, we just had to do it our way. And it just felt like really like cool. Like even Mace, like, yo, man, getting to know him and him coming from Brooklyn and, you know, being around us. And we still have fun because maybe in certain groups, Mace could feel like, yo, I got to watch my back and do like this. But maybe around Mercer and Dave and whoever, like he could feel like, yo, I can laugh and I can relax and I don't have to watch my back. And it just felt like we reaffirmed stuff.
That's exactly what it was for me. You know, coming from some troubling times and being around some unsafe spaces,
Yeah.
I was able to really be a child. I was able to really act my age around my friends who really just joked, played, went to church, you know.
Get another chance at it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's forced upon you otherwise, right? It's like you're born into an environment, you do the best you can, but when you choose your friends and then you get to make a decision like,
Yeah.
how am I going to actually define myself through this lens?
And then, you know, choosing those friends, sometimes that's not really friends. You know,
Yeah.
you go through that whole thing right there, and, you know, laughing, and then you find out somebody don't like your laugh.
Yeah.
Then you got a problem because of that, you know.
Yeah.
So all of these, you know, these wild, quirky things that used to happen, that was pretty unsafe, you know. And when I finally had the clique of friends that really enjoyed me laughing, laughed when I laughed, you know what I'm saying? Like, something about your laugh makes everybody laugh. I was like, yeah, this is my safe space. This is where I need to be. It's my cool friends.
Yeah, we embraced it. We
Yeah.
were able to be like, yo, like I said, like, you know, Dave, God bless Dave, wasn't nothing to mess with his hands, but
Yeah.
it could be at the same time. But Dave's mother could sew, and he knew how to sew, and he would show me, and we just had this thing like, yo, let's take our parents' pants and sew our father's pants, sew them up, and then put them with the coolest kicks. It's like we just all like egged each other on in our self, like being yourself, not being afraid to be yourself. And you was like safe, like, yeah, I'm in the chess. Yeah, I'm in the comic books. Yeah, you know, it was just really cool, like to just be able to be yourself.
The true legacy of what you've achieved as friends is you encourage millions of us to just be cool within ourselves.
It's rewarding because, you know, we would never be the ones who would stand and be like, yeah, because that was our mission statement. Our mission was to make sure that people felt safe, and we just kids.
Yeah, it's just
we
kids.
didn't know what our
There's just
mission
a time
was,
when
you know?
there was a time I was striving to be a kid, you know,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with so much adult stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I was looking for that, you know, and I found my friends that I could be a kid with. You
Yeah,
know?
and then have it reinforced, and you know, knowing from afar at one point Prince Paul, who was right in our school, who was a very clean-cut guy, but just was amazing on the wheels. Like, he wasn't a troublemaker. He didn't get into problems. It made me feel like, yeah, once again, I see someone who walks, who has a moral compass, but when it came to hip-hop, he could stand next to the best of them. So it was like stuff like that just, this made us, once again, reaffirmed for us, you could be yourself and you can still be a part of this and you can be respected for what you do.
We felt like we knew you, and then we put the records on, and we felt like we could never be anything like you. And that was the most beautiful thing. That was the most beautiful thing about it, was we were like, oh, we know these guys. We could be like these guys. And then we pressed play on 3 Feet High and Rising, and we were like, fuck that. We're never going to get there. No one's ever going to get there. I mean, what a crazy, crazy experience that album remains. I mean, you must have felt after you put that out and it connected in such an incredible way. And you're going to have to accept that my eyes are going to get a bit watery throughout this conversation. This is a deeply emotional conversation for me, in a good way. That you were like, man, great. Where is everyone else? And it remains like out on its own in the most brilliant way. It's like no one really showed up and tried to do that or followed in your footsteps, which must have been crazy at the time. You had native tongues, you had your friends, but all unique and individual. But no one could fuck with De La. No one tried to.
No, it's once
That's wild to hear.
It is wild.
Facts though, right? Facts. Think about it. Like, apart from like my definition of a boombastic jazz thing and maybe a bit of diggable here and there, I can't think of anyone else who was really trying to lean into that mindset.
Yeah, I mean, it really transferred for us over the same way, like, as I explained, our environment in school. Once we got down Paul working on these demos, but then we could meet Milk and Giz and Light, and they're who they are, but
Alliance MCs.
Yeah, everything they're hearing we're doing, they love it. So like I said, it's like we didn't feel like we were doing anything wrong. Like, yeah, like people like us being who we were. And it just kept going, like you said, from putting together that album. And I mean, our goal, Zane, was like, if we hear our songs on radio, we've made it.
Yeah.
That was a success.
Yeah.
It wasn't
like literally once Plug Tuning hit the radio.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, he's off to college. I'm getting ready to go to the military. We come from an era where you just wanted the respect of your neighborhood, your fellow rappers, the ones you looked up to, the ones that you were coming up with. It was dope to hear, Milk and Giz love what we do.
Yeah.
It was dope to hear Chuck D reach out and be like, yo, these are my little brothers right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
Like, it just...
We performing at Stetsasonics, the first performance we ever do, we're at Stetsasonics release party
at Irving Plaza.
And DMC and Jam Master Jay is
Jay in the
right
crowd,
in the front,
Kane in the crowd,
losing his mind.
Yeah.
We won. That was it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
But then that's just the start.
Yeah, we started getting these calls like, so y'all got to go to Texas.
Yeah.
Texas?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Y'all got to go to LA and perform at the World on Wheels. And what?
And United Nations.
Yeah, like, and then we got, y'all got to go overseas. What do you mean overseas? I mean, like.
And that's when it begins, right?
Oh my
From
God.
there, it's like
Forget it.
It's like every single night from that point forward, for the rest of your life.
Pretty much.
It's this.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And you have no idea when you do it. You had no idea what it was going to mean.
Not at all.
To the world. And then I can
Not at
imagine
all.
in a way, it's like we have to actually learn how to do this in process. Like.
Yeah. It was on-job training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we had to try to visually catch up to what people envisioned and how they heard and received this record. And the training ground for us was the Nitro Tour. It was us, Slick Rick, LL, Public Enemy,
Kane,
NWA.
Whoa. That's like one of the most...
and Too Short.
That's one of the most dynamic lineups ever. And you're also talking about one after the other who's going to come flying out on the side of stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sport near Johnson, I'm on
Hey.
the ball. Like, out comes LL to Get Down. Out comes Public
Yeah.
Enemy to like, don't believe the hype. It's just
Yeah.
hype, hype, hype. Was there a moment on that tour, despite the camaraderie backstage, where it was like, how do we actually be ourselves on this tour? Because that's a heavy energy.
We had really no issues with that. Like, you could have NWA who's on this side of the scale and De La's over here, and we was hanging around with NWA.
Yeah.
Easy
Like
E's Buck. That
we
was just,
didn't know anything different. Like
Yeah.
that tour was nothing but sheer camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
We protected one another.
Yeah.
And this was the era of drive-by shootings.
Yeah, I was
So,
going to ask you,
you
what was it like? Can we? I've never heard these stories, and these tours are the stuff of legend now.
We got kicked off tour.
Yeah, we got kicked
We got
off that
kicked off that tour from fighting too much.
Yeah.
You guys did.
Yeah.
Damn, Peace Porridge was right,
Yeah.
man. That shit
Well,
was right.
And it was like as he's saying, protect, like, someone's bothering Kane. Kane jumps into the crowd. His bodyguard jumps into the crowd. We jump into the crowd. Yeah.
We had each other's back.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it was,
Yeah.
every day, And it was due to the fact that we were the rookies, we was in general population every day. So there was always something going down,
Yeah.
and dealing with the disrespect of different people who don't care for your success.
Yeah.
And it could be unorthodox, like the security in the venue.
Yeah.
Dave had to smack this dude because he was so difficult with Dave. Like
Yeah.
you just saw him get off stage. Now you're just trying to embarrass him in front of the people that actually know him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Dave went up to him and smacked the shit out of him.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
You
So it ain't me all the time.
But I love how you played that role on the record. That was the best thing about it.
Hey.
I mean, those it's real.
It's a larger than life personality.
It happens. You know.
Yeah.
I love that about De La Soul is Dead, though. I love that you came out swinging on the record, and we all of us in New Zealand, my friends and us, when we listened to that record, we knew that there was an element of reality to that. That it was like, you know what, you can keep your success. This is about respect, and we knew that you were coming out swinging on that record, and I loved that. But
Just talking about the experiences of tour
yeah.
and what was happening in those moments, not like we were trying to get on some gangster shit or anything like that. We were just, those was the experiences.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And there was a lot of good experiences.
a lot
outside
of
that.
great ones, really.
Great,
A lot
yeah.
more fun than it was any
Way more
violence or
fun.
anything like that.
Way more fun.
But with us,
Crazy time.
it ended up being inflamed because a group like us, we're not supposed to fight. And
Yeah.
it makes more sense if I got my ass kicked or what
Yeah.
have you.
Yeah.
So to come out on top in different situations,
Yeah.
it's just a little bit more inflamed. Where
it was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
These aren't the kids from the Me, Myself, and I video.
Right.
Not at all.
Yeah, but that was the difference between what you do creatively versus who you were as people. And I feel like
Yeah.
you've always been very free creatively without it necessarily. Like you leaned into the idea of a true creative experience rather than just being about the reality that you were in, right? Like that's what I love about your records is that they
Yeah.
were hyper creative, in the world that you created with Prince Paul.
Yeah.
Like I know you got your hands full, and I know there's so many things you want to do, but it wouldn't surprise me if one day somebody, if not yourselves, created an actual Broadway experience out of those first 4 albums.
It's crazy. You
man, it's funny you say that.
Because we're actually, us and Paul have been talking about that, like
Yeah.
making an entire.
It tells a beautiful story
Yeah.
about 3 kids from Long Island who find each other and somehow through chemistry. I'm pitching you an idea you've already pitched. but what I hear on the records is created this world that inspired the world. But then as you grow through yourselves and even getting to this idea of what Balloon Mind State was, which was we're discovering what it is to find holistic energy, a deeper purpose in self. But then you follow that with Stakes Is High, which is the most hip hop of all the records in a traditionally. So it's such a great arc, the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was always about that from the beginning. When we was talking about Daisy Age, it really meant the inner sound, y'all. I mean, De La Soul is from the soul. So it really meant about not paying attention to the external aspect of how we looked and what we presented in that way. But it was about the music and the growth of the individual, the books we were blessed to read, having people approach us and be like, hey, man, you remind us of this person, and we didn't know who the person is, and they gave us information on them. I mean, I remember like someone just losing their mind about 3 Feet High and Rising, and it was like, you know what? Serge Gainsbourg. Like,
Yeah.
And we was like, we really ain't really up on him. And then they just flooded us with CDs. And next thing you know, that his music was like throughout De La Soul is Dead. Like, it was just a learning experience. And whatever we all learned individually, we placed it in each album, you know? And that was a part of evolving, you know?
You know, this radio series that you've lovingly curated and created with us at Apple, we're so grateful. I mean,
Oh, man.
what an amazing thing for the music to arrive where music is now.
Mm-hmm.
And then to be able to say, hey, you know what, let's tell more stories and let's connect with some people, some old friends, some new friends, and actually try to bring the context of this to people. It makes that, not for you, but it makes that 20-odd years just evaporate for me as a listener. I'm like, fuck, man, I know it's been a long road for you, but for me, it's like we're right where we should be.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk a little bit about episode 1, which is coming up after this, which is a beautiful place to start with Prince Paul, Queen Latifah. Starting with Prince Paul, this magical kind of Beatles, almost George Martin-esque type relationship you have with him.
Yes. It's a lot of jokes with us.
Yeah, and the good ones end up on the record. I'm sure the bad
Yes.
ones don't.
Yo, man.
I don't think any of them were bad.
None.
If they were, they made it too.
The most fun experience making 3 Feet High and Rising, all those records with Paul. Like, what was a day in the studio like when you were creating? Because it feels unbridled.
It was,
I'm going to use the word natural.
mhm.
It just felt natural from day one. When I actually got the opportunity to play Paul the demos we were working on 4-track, it just fit. It was a perfect marriage. Like, the universe spoke loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Paul and I got up with the demos, it was him playing me the In Full Gear album. And at that time, before we were considered the skit masters, it was all interludes, you know. Stet was known for doing really cool interludes. They're funky, you know, and kind of quirky too. So once I knew the quirkiness came from Paul, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to that album, then more than anything, listening to what didn't make the album. And it seemed like it was like a perfect fit for what we were doing. And when I played Paul our stuff, because it was like hearing what didn't make the record and stuff that he actually produced, I was like, yo, man, I got to play you the stuff, this, you know. And we had maybe plug tuning a few different ways.
And the demos were there, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
plugged them in.
Potholes in My Lawn. We
Yeah.
had Freedom of Speak. We had Daisy Age, which
Yeah.
was called something.
De La Game.
Daylight Game.
Yeah.
The Posh just had the beat for Magic Number.
Mm-hmm.
He even had the beat that he used for the intro on Stakes is High.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Yeah. So all of that back then, having that, and it was just a perfect fit. When I played it for Paul was like, yo, he just lit up.
There must have been a moment in your life together as friends where, away from it all, he's been able to say to you through his own words what a life-changing experience it was, just finding De La Soul and finding you.
But it was the same for us. It was like, honestly, like creatively, it's like, yo, let's get married. This is
Yeah.
a relationship
Yeah.
that will work and last. Like,
Yeah.
without question. And it was just, Paul was blessed to have seen for himself that, hey, I come from a great, I'm in this great group where certain ideas may not be able to get heard. So he made sure that with us, one of the biggest rules was everyone's idea gets heard. Everyone.
How else do you come up with Jennifer? How?
Pops came up with that.
I mean, dude, and with Magic Number as well, you would like deep in your parents' record collection or
I was
something.
just in my pop's records. I saw these 45s and I just started playing them.
But
And
no one in their right mind at that moment in time is hearing that song when it starts and going like, "Oh, I know what's gonna work."
yeah, I mean,
The first time I heard this, fellas, I was like, with the scratch, it's just like,
yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck is he even gonna get on this shit? I mean, it's the first playthrough. My mind's already blown, and they're like,
Access to her code, love struck was my mode.
Oh
Took
my
a
God.
look, dropped
And I'm
my
like-
textbook, Jennifer. Oh,
and then
this one, This version is before they started calling them remixes.
Right.
This is actually the remix to the actual 12-inch version that we did.
Right.
Yeah, this is the total different mix altogether.
But then, wait, hang on. Where's Derwin? I mean, at this point, I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life. And then you slide back into it. It is still and remains to this day one of the most brilliantly eccentric moments in music. Fuck a genre.
Oh man, thank you, bro.
I mean, weren't there moments in the studio when you finished that where you just looked at each other and like, did you not have some sensation of what I felt the first time I heard it? What the fuck are we doing? This is crazy.
We were so happy to be in the studio.
Yeah.
Luckily, whatever we were doing, it was accepted, but we were just happy that we were just doing and getting out these ideas.
Yeah,
man.
to take what you was dubbing over with cassettes or working on a 4-track.
That's all it was.
To go in the studio and clean it up and get everything in time.
Yeah.
And,
Yo, to even see like the engineers just like, wow, like they're just kind of like happy. Like,
yeah. Because they know they're making history. They're making history. You're making history.
It was crazy.
Yeah, the engineers played a great role in a lot of the things we were doing.
Yo, that album, I mean, funny enough, I was just speaking with Sue. I speak to Sue Faber a lot, who helped put, engineer a lot of stuff on that
Sue
album.
Fisher,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We just had fun. Bob Coulter. Yo, we just had so much
Bob
fun.
Powers.
Yeah, making those records. And like I remember them showing us like it was this piece of equipment called the harmonizer.
Yeah. The Eventide.
The Eventide harmonizer. And we was like, wait a minute, so you mean you can take this album that's in this pitch and make it work with this pitch? And then my mind just was blown. And I was like, wow. So, I mean, I can take this record, say no go, and pitch it down to Because, by that point, Daryl Hall is rhyming over that.
Yeah.
He's singing over that. So, it was just, our mind was just blown, and we were just kids in this candy store of creativity. And we had fun. Like the most not strict, but like structured thing we did is like Paul would assign homework. Like, so, okay, we got this. Y'all need to have the rhymes for Ghetto Thing by this time, blah, blah, blah. But it left so much time for just
spontaneity.
Yeah.
But he was also teaching you to take it seriously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much
because man, most people go in the studio straight out of high school, high school, and they're like, get the drinks in, get the smoke in, it's like, this is just a fucking fun time.
No, it was amazing.
Our first introduction to the studio had nothing to do with alcohol or smoking or none of that. It was literally like going to school. I think what Paul was really paying attention to was making sure that we didn't spend a lot of money, let alone we were paying for it. So it was like, y'all don't want to waste your money, You want to have more time in the studio to do other stuff if you can, So it was really like school, and we had to come in with our homework done.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether he had a verse, I had some scratches, Dave had a verse. We had to do all of what was necessary then to do whatever else we wanted to do.
And everything, must say, everything was taken serious. Even the fun.
Yeah.
Like, don't downplay the fun. Because, like, it'll just be us making jokes, and he's like, that's a great idea. And then, so it even got to the point where, like, oh, you got to watch what you say around Paul.
Because the playing around,
it could be up on the record.
It'll be a record.
Yeah.
You just played around on vocals and messed up a rhyme, and then he's like, yo, let's loop that. Like.
De La Orgy is his fault.
Yeah.
It was my fault. I was just like, come on, what are we going to do with this beat? You hear Barry White, what you want to do? Mona, and then also you see his face like, do that.
Everybody.
That must have been the most funny shit to record. Everyone just cracking up laughing.
Look, man,
to make it sound like kind of semi-serious must have been the funniest shit ever.
Man,
It was fun and just surprisingly awkward. Because, I said, Q-Tip on that record.
I know.
I was like, brother, let me talk to you after this. Because I need to hang with you a little bit more, because you was confident in what you was doing.
Well, he through the music and in life, he went on to show more of that side of himself. So, he's never had a problem with
not at all
that side of confidence. There were two albums that came out around the same time. That one and Paul's Boutique. Two masterpiece records. Two masterpiece records, right? both should be in the Library of Congress. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
Thank God yours is. I'd love to see Paul's Boutique in there
I
too.
totally agree with you.
Yeah. Likewise.
You know, and both records to me, thank goodness you got them done, because after that everything changed on a sample
with the
level.
samples,
Everything
forget it.
done.
Mhm.
So it was like, okay, we got those two. We know what, if everyone had just kind of figured out how to find the right compromise, we know what would have been possible going forward. But we got those two. And it's not to say people haven't been creative with it, and I'm all for people getting paid and whatnot. A lot has been talked about with the samples, and we know is a huge part of what held the music up. But I want to talk about the good experiences with the samples.
Mhm.
I want to know, like, who did you run into after 3 Feet High and Rising came out or whatever, who was like, great job, I love what you did there.
George Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the only one I can really think
off
of.
the top.
Oh, and Daryl Hall.
Daryl
We
Hall,
didn't
I
run
can
it.
imagine
I didn't run into him, but I heard him do it on television.
Yeah.
And he actually did like a good maybe 4 bars of "Say No Go"
Yeah.
on top of
That's cool.
his original composition. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. But I don't know of anyone else.
I mean, even when we had the issue with the Turtles.
That was the big one we
That
always
was the
heard about.
really
We heard
big
Yeah,
that
that
was
was kind of whack.
Well,
because an interlude as well. It's like, damn,
it
man,
happened,
like-
and then even when I remember being in like the room with their lawyer, and so it was going to be settled, but he was a big fan, and it was even told to us like, yo, we could. It was like even a choice where we could have paid them or work with them. And we being stupid was like, but yo, why you have to do all this? So just pay them. And the time was, people were like, yo, why don't you just work with them? We don't have to pay
I
them.
think it's the way it came across.
Yeah.
It came across kind of brash, It was, and I don't think it really was the band that was like that. It's the administration, how they can put things.
It's also the first time this
Like-
has ever happened like
Well, yeah.
this.
Yeah, and the first
Yeah.
time it ever happened, but it almost appeared to be an ultimatum.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where we were like, but stand on an integrity on how it was delivered. We'll pay them, and we'll just move on.
I feel like that was, without even realizing it, with the best of intentions, kind of one of probably a few watershed moments where after something like that, once the system realizes what it's worth, then it's like, well, creativity at a cost, people, right? From now on, it's we're not going into this from a collaborative point of view. We're coming in it from a combative point of view almost. And I feel like, that album, thank God it's such a beautiful, joyous fucking example of it. Because I know that really looking back on it, there must have been times and you were like, damn, that sample.
Oh man,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just going through the process of trying to correct everything for the re-release.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clearing those samples was a bit much. Yeah.
Just even cataloging the samples.
Yeah, we looking at each other going, what do we do?
Why did we do this?
Why do we do this?
Like the funny thing is for the Apple show.
Yeah.
We was trying to we just didn't have the time, but we wanted to do a skit where we went back in time and stopped ourselves from sampling. Like, yo, you already got 3 on this song. You have to add the other 12.
I hate to break it to you, but that's some Avengers shit, bro. Because then if the fabric of time and space is unraveled, and I'm somewhere living back in New Zealand, working accounts. No disrespect to accountants, but it's not what I do. It's the opposite of my life. If that album doesn't get made, no pressure. It's the opposite of my life.
Yo. No, I mean I don't regret any moment of it, man. We lived through it, we learned from it, but
It just hurts when somebody else is making more money off your product. than you.
100%.
yeah.
But other than that, it was I wouldn't change anything.
No, it was so much fun, man. To have that first kiss, that first creative moment, and it was just beautiful, and it set the tone for how we approached the studio from there on out,
The finance is a very important point, and I respect it. And I think a lot gets made about music and money and what it all means. Because I think people think because you discover music and get to find an audience to make music, your dreams have come true. It's like you should be paid for it.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna try to put a spin on it, not to discount what you're saying under any circumstances, but as a compliment, in the face of all of that, you stay consistent, and you worked, and you built. And here you are, decades on. You remain incredibly important and relevant and working and bookable, and people want you to do shit. And how many artists have we seen got a little money early on? They get soft, they fall off.
You know,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, that makes a lot of
Some
sense.
didn't get money and got frustrated.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know
That's
what
true
I'm
to
saying?
most,
So,
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, you know, I mean, for us, it's just been an extreme blessing to even come behind people like Prince Paul, watching Stet, you know, getting introduced to other artists that you look up to, and just getting the understanding, whether it's near or far, of how the administration works behind all of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like we said, this was all on-the-job training.
Yeah.
And our actual childhood dream to become our profession, I think what you got out of De La Soul was we didn't get in this to be professional celebrities. I got in here to be a professional DJ. I think he got in here to be a professional MC.
Super MC.
You know, and we claim to our heart to be in the business of art
Yeah.
and making hip-hop music, you know.
Thank you.
No, without question. And we were blessed, though. We were blessed on the on-job moments. We learned a lot through, you know, our first managers, Russell Simmons and Leo Cohen, you know, with Rush Management, and you know, learning just the trick of the trades with all the groups that they had with them, and you know, just taking that moment if you needed to see like, yo, this is how things should be done, and this is how you should move, and we learned a lot, man, and it's just a blessing to still be here from all those great moments that we learned from.
What's it like being back in New York City, given that both of you have lived in different parts of the country and around the world? You know?
I'm a New York boy
Yeah.
till I die, but I shall never live here again.
I concur.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, I mean, we love it here, man. You know, a lot of family, but it's cold here, man.
It's
It's
cold.
cold.
It's definitely not the New York we remember.
Yeah.
You know, I connect more and more with the fact that I'm just getting older, man. So there's certain things,
Yeah.
you know, just need to remain a memory, you know,
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
memory.
Yeah. But man, you got to see New York at a time and be in the center of the city at a
Yeah.
time when, I mean, dude, late 80s into the early to mid 90s, I feel like when you and Latifah were part of Native Tongues, and that whole experience must just be, the memories must be golden.
No,
lot of culture,
yeah.
but a lot of danger.
And I mean, but
Yeah,
mind you,
different time. It wasn't the Disneyland for
Look.
grown-ups it is kind of now.
Yeah, right,
you
right.
have to understand. I'm originally from the Bronx. He's originally from Brooklyn. I know like 42nd Street. You know, like
Yeah.
real prostitutes, kung fu movies, like dirt.
That game room that used to be right
Yeah.
on the corner. What was
Yeah.
that? Playground or something,
something like that. Yeah, like we know.
Beefsteak Charlie and all that.
And you know how it is, man. When you live in through it,
Yeah.
you don't really know that it's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Until like you get older, and be like, yo, how did my mother let me walk around the street in this alley like this? You know, like
Well, because she said, when that street light come on, you bring your ass in the house.
Yeah.
Because that's when it's going to pop off.
Yeah.
It's no longer safe out there when that street light
Man.
comes on.
Yeah.
no, it's a blessing. It's like I said, you learn from it, and funny enough, the joke, but the truth of it that you and Jazzy Jeff talk about. Now you chopping
Oh,
wood.
yeah, now And Jeff goes, well, we made it. Because now we in the yard chopping firewood.
Yeah.
chopping firewood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm literally chopping firewood these days, really.
I love to hear it, man. Great to hear that Latifah showed up on episode 1. You made a really poignant comment, Mace, when you were it was a great conversation with you and your friend Talib on his podcast a few months back. And you said like Native Tongues was the era that it sort of
The best thing that never happened.
Never happened.
Yeah.
It really resonated with me. Because when you said on Stakes is High, it's why the Native Tongues has officially been reinstated. Me and my friends ran around that day like, yo, there's a Native Tongues project. This is the fucking greatest news we've ever heard. And it wasn't that simple. It was a beautiful statement, but it wasn't that simple.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean when you said that. It's like, but the influence and the inspiration that as a group of artists you had in such a short period of time
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah. No, it really was. And it is those conversations where we'll have with our fellow friends, and you can be like, yo, imagine if we would have got it right.
Yeah.
What would have happened? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the ones who got it right was Wu-Tang. they got it right.
They got it right.
Yeah. And
They
Odd
definitely
Future
got it.
to some degree, who kept it going for
Yeah.
a while, and then
Yeah.
before they decided to do their own thing. And I feel like that is an extension of the Native Tongues and Wu-Tang philosophy.
Mm.
To a degree.
To a degree.
Just with us, it was in the other direction. We already had record deals, each one of us, maybe except Tribe, you know, and that was the disturbance. Latifah already had a record deal. So I think had we all not had record deals and came in as Native Tongue,
Might have been a group.
might have been, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but we were already coming from other extensions.
What
you
was
know?
it? What was it like watching a young Tribe find their feet?
Yo, it was
It was amazing.
it was amazing.
It was
'cause
amazing.
It literally is where you see the talent. It's there. Like it's not. I don't know if you agree, but it's not like, wow, imagine when we just keep developing them. Like, yo, the records that Tip already had access to, his mind state, Ali's mind state, all of them, like, it was like, yo, these kids are gonna be out of here. And I remember it like yesterday. We was at Tribe's first performance. We was someplace, I don't know the name of the club, and I remember me and Africa just standing there, we in the crowd. And Tip, he got on all white. And the girls are going bananas. And me and After look at each other and we're like, that's our sixer.
Yep, that's how Marvin Gaye right
That's how
there.
Marvin Gaye right there.
Yep.
Ah, shit, we got it. You know what I mean? Like, Tribe was on fire.
It was easy to see. It was like, yeah, Q-Tip's the rock star.
Yo.
Fife is the B-boy. There's the balance right there.
But I mean,
And then Ali being Ali, you know, the DJ, the glue, you know.
yo, man, but I'm saying it was all there from the beginning. From the beginning. The magic of it all.
And
Like,
Jerobi being the mystery.
Yo.
Like, yeah.
I mean,
The voice and didn't see the face.
God, man.
That was all the beauty of it.
And it all, like, we were all, like, in each other's sessions. So, like, when you just go home and like, damn.
Yeah, so you're in a
Tribe,
session
dude,
and
you just gotta
yeah,
write
and they're
something.
doing footprints and you're hearing them flip that
What?
Donald Byrd and it's
Yeah,
like it's
Tip
what the
played me
fuck
the
is
entire
that?
album. We were in LA in the Hyatt Hotel right across from the House of Blues. And he was like, yo, Mercer, I'm kind of scared. Scared away. He's like, yeah, I really want to play you the album. And we just sat there in this room and he played the album. He's looking at me. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is, even just from the point of just having like an album where the songs wouldn't, he wouldn't even start rhyming.
And even just the way the sample comes, he goes,
Yeah.
dun, and cuts out. I'm
Yo.
like,
Yeah.
Like he used to leave these long kind of like spaces before he even did the first verse. I was like, yo, this is just magical. And he was like, you really think so? And he's like that to this day. Like he really like looks at you to try to see what you think. And it's like, all right, God, like why you need me to look at this? Like this is incredible.
you know what though, you inspired each other and pushed each other, and and along with some of your other peers in that environment, it was a beautiful thing. I know Black Sheep played an essential role in that at one point, and you know, I mean that's a classic debut album and stuff as well, Out of Control. But then you know when you would show up and do things that made everyone go whoa, like I remember Long Island's Wildin', and I remember hearing Japanese rappers
Yeah.
and thinking,
SDP.
oh my god,
Takaji Khan.
Yeah.
Yep.
just yes y'all.
Yeah.
We don't stop. It just, to me, it was one of those real groundbreaking moments, and I can trace it back now to, in a way, like there is some credit that De La Soul deserve for actually showing us way ahead of schedule that no matter what the record label decides is coming out, what territory, because they want to spend or don't spend money on it, or that marketing gatekeeping, this music exists out here and it's dope.
It does. And I mean, those groups were, for us, like, inspiring to see how they move. Like, we looked at them, it's like, yo, this is like a Japanese Beastie Boys, like the way SDP moved and how they performed and how they did things. And Khan was already so affiliated with Red.
Yeah, he was already a Zulu member.
Yeah, I mean, like, and just their whole entire professionalism and
Just the flow, man.
yo, their love, their true, genuine love for hip hop. They love hip hop.
Crazy.
And I'm just saying, like, I don't really think we, in making that skit or groove, like, we was like, and we're gonna call Long Island Wildin'. Nah, it was just like at the end, I had this tape of Tricky T and I'm like Mantronics performing at the Red Parrot, and it was just weird that he was saying he was on Long Island. He's been out there. That's where I'm at. And they be wilding. We said, yeah, we do be kind of wild. And we just put it at the end. And then that became the name of the song.
But it's such a celebratory warning. It's like, because Long Island's wild. It's Long Island's wild. Like,
and it made sense because even Dave was like, yeah, because they're going to be like, yo, this is De La. And they got some Japanese kids rhyming. They be bugging out. And it all made sense. Like,
hey, where did Biddies come from? What was the experience that inspired
Nitro
Biddies
tour.
in the BK?
Being on the
Lounge?
Nitro tour.
Being on the first tour, Nitro tour. That
and I
Yeah.
want to say we was in Chicago.
Right.
Where were we? St. Louis?
It was like,
I know it was in the Burger King. And we was just, after the show, we all went to, pretty much everybody on the tour went to Burger King. And I was being an asshole, messing with this girl, pissing her off, making my order.
Uh-huh.
She got so mad, she threw the drink on me. She threw a Sprite on me. And I just stood there. I didn't black out or nothing. I knew I deserved it. You know what I mean? But that's what sparked the idea.
immediately like, yo, man, these bitches in the BK Lounge, they be bugging. And then it became
It became a 3-part
Yeah.
opus.
Yeah.
But see, that led to like, in saying that, okay, then that's how it was. You had this pad and you write down bitches in Burger King. And then it kind of modifies to, all right, don't just say bitches, say biddies in the BK Lounge.
Yeah.
And then it came together with this idea I had, like, well, I remember saying to Q-Tip, like, yo, man, we was shopping for records. And I was like, yo, I really want to do like an ode to UTFO, Roxanne, where they had the 3 MCs have these 3 different parts. And I was like, it could be me, I have my music, Dave have his music, Mace has his music. Because Mace be rhyming. Mace a rhyme. And he was like, yo, and then I remember just finding the record. I was like, yo, this Lou Donaldson record, this will work. And so it just all this gelled together, man. It was so much fun.
Yeah, that
making that.
came off real
Yeah,
good.
and it's
I
crazy because
mean-
that's one of those rhymes
Yeah.
we just recently talked about, like, yo, when Dave did that rhyme.
Crazy.
Oh, my God.
Crazy. I mean, the amount of times I've gone through my life reacting to people with just the ad-libs from that song.
Yeah. He has another
You
tape.
better!
Yeah.
You know, just like, just the shit just ends up getting in your everyday vernacular. It's crazy. And you have no idea these little things you say in the studio end up, like, they become a part of our conversations like 30,000 miles away.
Yeah, because people will be
know?
like, but what do you mean? Yeah, that's from the Lynn
Lynn
Collins
Collins
record.
record.
When you're like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
better think. But it was like, you better. You
Oh
better
my
not.
God. It's so, you know, and even just the humor of like, Maseo, what goes on? You're like, I don't know. It's just like, it's just so good. I mean, you know, but you did it. It's still hard. It's still heavy. What about, who played Squirrel?
Squirrel.
Oh, Squirrel, that was a real person.
That's a real
Yeah.
DJ?
Nah, he was one of our road managers.
Yeah.
At the time.
Miguel Munoz.
Miguel Munoz.
That's our
Yeah.
brother.
He went to college with Dave and Mike.
Yeah.
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 And you know, he was on the team.
And it just was like
Yeah.
that. That was a normal thing with De La. If you're there and we need someone to fulfill an idea, yo, get in the booth. And you just had to just do it, you know?
We this is so special right now. I mean, I the fact that you even came to the city on the way back from meeting up with Dave Chappelle to finish off this series at AOA Radio, and you even taken the time to talk with me, which really just
Oh, cut it out, man.
No. I know the trade, right? Like in my life, I talk to great artists. I'm really lucky, and there's a beautiful, hopefully holistic, meaningful human trade going on there. Where it's just like you want to tell a story, and I would love to hear it and help you facilitate that to an audience. There's no trade going on here except for me. I'm the winner here, right? I mean, you know, you're literally letting me nerd out story after story, and it's so gracious and sick. So I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I mean, so much nerdery that could go into it. Could go into this.
No, man, honestly, Zane, it's I just can't help to continuously let you understand, man. It's like, you know, we are blessed to still be alive
Yes.
and get to the age we're at,
Yes.
and to have people feel so still connected in a honest way. And it's not something that, you know, we never felt like our music was dated, and to have people feel the same way, like, yo, it's timeless, and it means something the same way it meant something to me then. Yo, it's a blessing. It's
Yeah,
a
it really
true
is.
blessing to have
Truly
you
is.
feel
But
like that.
That's
you know?
what. That's why it resonates, and that's why we're still here. Is because I feel like through it all, isn't it interesting that De La Soul has had on paper, one of the most challenging industry experiences of the modern age, if not the most. And yet, you have the most gratitude, and therefore we are drawn to that. It's like a gravitational pull. Like a year on from, we've had catalogs come out after the fact. You weren't the only one. And we've had big albums come out, but we're almost a year to the day that AOI Radio, the first episode's going to go out. And you got the 35-year anniversary of 3 Feet High and Rising with the spatial and the new songs. And we are not done talking about the fact this music is, we have not moved on. Wow. You know what I mean?
No.
Like we haven't moved on. Like it's not like, oh, cool, that's out. Like I listen to this shit all the time.
Yo, it's I have to concur with Paz. I gotta echo it. It is truly a blessing. It's a blessing to see the younger generation embracing it just as much as they embrace the stuff that they're growing up on now. You know, I'm also watching it make some significant changes again. You know, for people who actually want to get into the business. And these new artists that are coming up, and they recently got a whiff of what we've had for so many years, and they're like changing the trajectory of how they need to make music now.
Yes, they are.
Because
real change happening right now.
Yeah, it's a lot of changes, a lot of positive changes. But that's hip hop once again. It sneaks up on us when we go through a moment of trial and tribulation.
Yeah.
It sneaks up on us and do something amazing. So,
yeah.
You know, I'm always gonna depend on our culture to do something amazing, especially in our darkest hours.
Yeah.
You know, everyone will tell you that we're all your biggest fans, but you know who your biggest fans are? Each other.
Without question.
and that's I love that. And so I
can't stand him.
Hang on.
Sick.
Did we get that? Did we get that? We're good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in.
It's just crazy.
It was all just a big gotcha. I just wanted the gotcha. That's all I got. That's the headline. We got that?
Yeah.
Run it. All right. Damn, how'd you get that on TikTok so fast? You know, I wanted to ask each of you kind of where you feel each other's real sort of superpower is, where that strength is as a fan of what you do, and let's talk about Dave. You know, there's not really any. I could say a lot about how I feel about Dave as an artist and someone who inspired and continues to inspire me through my life. You know, I would love to know what made him so dope to you.
Well, it's just a lot I could say, but if we're talking about just hip hop and the part that you play in what you the position you signed up for. So if it's an MC, the way he spoke, the way he saw things, like Dave was very colorful with his words, very vivid. And it was crazy, even one of the last interviews he did, I had never knew this about him. Like when he said when he hears music, he starts seeing colors.
Oh, he has synesthesia.
That's crazy. Yeah. But it makes sense because that's, to me, how I've always described him. Like his flows and his cadences and his voice, it was amazing. But him as the person himself, I could say in one word, Dave is like defiant. Like you can't, he's defiant. You can't rush my art.
Yeah.
He'll let you know, get out of here, Smiles, our road manager. Get out of here, Brandon.
I don't care.
Our manager,
we'll take 3 years to put out an
You're
album.
not going to rush my art. Mind you, this is the one person in the group who can hear a song and write it in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and he's in the booth. But
that's the part that used to frustrate me.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was like...
That he could. But he had to,
literally.
But he had to feel it to do it.
He had to really feel it. I think there was maybe only 3 songs he written at home.
Yeah.
Ever. He had to come in the studio, turn it up. The next thing you know, within 20 minutes, it was written and laid. Like he knew the rhyme forever.
The normal way.
And he could read it off the paper like he memorized it.
He already memorized it.
Yeah.
Because normally it would be me fiddling around. If I'm the person that know, if we got a session Thursday, I don't like writing in the studio. My rhyme is done. I come in, So he sees me in there, he hears me trying to get it right, and now once I see him do this, he always did this. He put that one hand in his ear, and he's listening to what's going on, and then I'm like, oh boy, here he go. And yeah, when I'm walking out, he pretty much be walking in. Like
That's pretty much the reason why we didn't perform a lot of songs, because he couldn't remember them. A lot of his rhymes he couldn't remember. He'd do it that day and
move on.
That was it.
Yeah. And he was ball the paper and bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He lived for the moment.
Yeah, no, without question, but very defiant. We are not going to settle. We're not doing it like Dave was like the heart like that. He was the heart of it all like that.
Mace, was there a moment that you created together as a group that you felt really, and I know he must have been, as you all are, proud of everything you created, but you just saw him, like it hit him?
The moment it hit, when we created, when Pos actually, I mean, we had did this a while ago as well. It was the foundation to Ghetto Thing. And when Dave played the keyboards on it, that let me know he was somewhere else, you know, when we were all digging in records, trying to mesh things and
I had
figure out
no
the
idea
sound.
he played that.
And he played
sounded like a break to me.
Because he had called it soft violins.
Yeah, right.
It was called
It
soft
was
violins.
initially called soft violins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he played the keyboard, I was like, I didn't know that, you know.
I didn't know that until
Yeah,
30 seconds
and
ago.
it opened up a whole nother chamber creatively where he was just at. You know,
Dave was very
he's
creative.
just very creative, very different, you know. He and I definitely had a lot of push and pull, you know. I'll forever be little brother to him, you know. That's just what it's been. But that role as a little brother was him always being really protective, you know, very, very protective, you know. And we had to grow from that.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough when you're a member of a group and you want to stand on your own 2 feet and define your identity, and you've got one of your best mates is like,
yeah, hold on, little
I
brother.
know you.
Yeah, hold on, baby bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm taller than you, motherfucker.
Well, 5 episodes of AOI Radio.
Yes, sir.
With an incredible lineup
I think it's
of
the beginning of something new.
I mean, I had so much fun doing it.
I had a lot of fun.
And I'm
too.
not really trying to, you know, just lay it on thick or whatever, but I had a lot of fun doing this.
Why?
A lot of fun. And like one of the things, as much as it could be like, being able to talk to people you love and know and is appreciated as people.
Yeah.
It's more than just being a person that can turn around and be like, and it allows us to flex our creative thing. Just coming in here and dealing with the team here and the people we met here. It was fun. It was like it was fun to come to work. It was fun.
Made it easy to do.
Yeah,
and
man.
isn't it cool when you get to like, you're used to losing time on stage or in the studio where time stands still and next thing you know it's over, and that's the beautiful flow state that we all strive to be in. But now you know that you can get that just like this. Like,
no, man, it was just so much fun.
Yeah, it was.
Our brother Reef, man, we've known Reef
forever.
Yeah, shouts to Reef.
Yeah.
So I mean, just to
Incredible.
be around like like-minded and great people who are pushing and rooting for you, and we show up. It's just nothing like it for
You
us.
continue to show up. We'd love you to keep showing up, by the way.
Hey.
But you continue to show up. The fact that you showed up. Dave passes away, the music comes out. No one would have been surprised if you needed time, and we'll celebrate that music when we're ready. But you showed up, and you celebrated it, and you've continued to honor his legacy and your friendship because you do show like the amount of people are like, oh, we can never go on stage again, and I respect that. Some people can't, but you're like, nah. We're going to do shows.
Yeah.
We're going to play these songs. We're going to answer your questions gracefully. I know there's times you're tired of that and it's like I'm emotional and I don't want to deal with that, but you show up, and I'm so grateful that you do. Like, dude, I've been a fan of
Dave wouldn't have wanted no other way.
Yeah.
The family co-signed us. They before we can even come up with whatever we couldn't even figure out what we were going to do. It was everybody else coming to us going, y'all got to keep going. Y'all have to keep going. This is a dark time, but y'all got to keep going. Just based on, because, you know, the catalog just being released, everybody know how hard we worked to get to this point.
And how hard he worked.
And how hard he worked
and even
as well.
us, him being our brother, but not really him pridefully not wanting us to feel sorry and know the extent of maybe how he felt, you know, in terms of his health. And then certain family members knowing that was like, yo, he worked so hard to still try to march behind y'all to get to this finish line. Like, he doesn't want you to stop.
Yeah.
And like his sister was like, you know, she was like, no pressure. But she was like, if you literally, she was like, no pressure.
She gets to play that card.
Yeah, but she was
gets
like,
to play that card.
she literally was like, if you stop, he stops.
He stops.
He stops.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't want you to stop.
And it's been hard for me stepping into it.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm very emotional about it.
Nah, without question. I came to him like it was a scene out of B Street. It was like Ramo just passed away, and I was like, yo, we got to do this celebration. We got to keep rocking for Ramo. And I came to him with that, and that's what it was. We was like, yo, we got to celebrate this kid. We got to keep moving.
Being a fan and remain a fan of some fucking shitty bands in terms of the way they carry themselves. I love the music. I try to separate myself, and it's not easy being a fan sometimes of somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You make being a fan the greatest experience on the planet.
Oh, man.
Like,
Thank
you
you,
just wear it. You carry yourselves brilliantly. The music is fucking crazy. And continues to be, you know. Anonymous was like a whole other fucking level again.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, I hope there's music.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You know?
Absolutely.
music.
Like,
There's
you
too
know,
much stuff rattling around.
AOI
here.
3 is definitely happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
There's a
you know.
lot of stuff about that.
And it's lots going to happen.
So we could talk again.
Even with Paul, stuff is going to happen.
Yeah, I heard you let that slip.
Yeah, I did let it slip, so I've just been letting it slip and slide all over the place.
This
now.
fucking gets slippery. That must be so beautiful as well to know no slipping out of that. It must be.
Nah, because I'm really excited to do that.
Yeah,
I can't-
manifest that shit.
I can't wait.
Oh,
to
ain't
get
no
to
manifestation.
that.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna
I mean,
happen.
We
Yeah,
already
yeah.
talked with Paul.
But also that's a real life thing. That's a thing of like, hey, we're still here. It's a blessing that we're still here. Let's not spend any time apart. Let's fucking do this shit.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
there's magic in that studio when you're in there.
it really is, man,
Yeah.
and it's therapeutic, honestly.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, you guys made Live 87 Dugout 87, which remains one of my favorite De La beats of all time.
Whoa, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I can't go to a Mission Impossible movie now and hear that string in the background and not hear you guys jumping on that shit.
Man.
It's gonna surface. It shall surface.
Yes. No, we got stuff.
I'm excited.
We got stuff coming.
Well, then we shall talk again in the future. And I won't
Would
kick
love
myself
to,
for the
man.
500 questions I had in the back of my mind I had to ask you.
And you know, we'll see you on.
Come on,
we'll
we see you in the streets,
We'll see you in these
Well,
streets.
you work with us now too. You're part of the Apple team.
man. You know,
AOI Radio coming up, episode 1, The Remarkable, De La Soul with Prince Paul and Queen Latifah. Look out for us right now. And gentlemen, thank you for being so great.
thank you, my
Oh, man.
brother.
Thank you, bro.
so much.
Word up.